I'm a soldier of fortune in one way.
The Scottish actor Nicol Williamson is back on the stage with Clwyd Theatr Cymru playing King Lear. Williamson's performances of Shakespeare in the 1960s were acclaimed as groundbreaking. His work on stage was brilliant, but he was also renowned as not being an easy man to deal with. Well, Williamson has been away from the stage for over 6 years. He hasn't spoken to journalists for 15. I went up to Mole to meet him for an exclusive interview.
Up here in Mold, it wasn't coming back to the West End. It was coming back to do something that I wanted to do. I didn't see it as any large issue. I wanted to work with Terry.
In conversations with Nicol, one day he said, you know, I really think I ought to have a go at King Lear before I'm too old. And by that he meant, well, I've still got the strength to play it.
People had said to me, why don't you at some point do Lear? And I thought, well, I'm not old enough for that yet. But I read the play, I'd never seen it. And I called him last summer and said, why don't we do Lear? And he said, you've just made my year, let's do it.
When a King Lear turns up, you do it, no matter what your other plans may be or may have been. And that's what happened this time. Nicol is a free spirit. His Hamlet was absolutely acclaimed, and they are the twin peaks of an actor's career, Hamlet and King Lear, really. But Nicol disappeared from the British scene, and he went off and did a lot of movies.
Wow, he seemed really pleased.
Film and television work took Williamson away from the stage where he'd made his name for much of the 1970s and 80s.
Gonna miss me?
I've missed you for years, sweetie, don't you know that?
This TV drama was made for HTV, but Williamson established a reputation in America. He played a one-man show on Broadway and in London, but this King Lear is a huge step.
I didn't know what this was really about until I started work on it. And in that process of discovery, there are so many mood changes with this man. There is so much power, vocal power, and the concentration of energy in his head about what is happening, so much emotional power, that it's very, it requires a great deal of control and concentration. Strength is one thing, which I had once in superabundance, and I still have some left, but I've always had and still retain great stamina. And how stamina works is you have to measure. It's like running a long-distance race and knowing when to go. And when you feel the pressures on you, knowing that you've got something left in the tank to be able to deal with that.
What was the reaction of the rest of the company here? Because a lot of them are young actors, and you come with a huge reputation. It must have been quite daunting for them on the first day of rehearsal.
Here was this cast looking at me, I'm looking at them, and I pulled out all the stops and hit it with everything that I had. I felt that this was necessary for me to get rid of all the dross and all the nonsense so that you can get on right down with the basics. Throw it all out and then strip it right down to the basics. Then when they saw that begin to work and that you were working with them and you were actually working with them, not setting yourself apart as some kind of either star figure or a man apart, they warmed to that. We all became very integrated as a company, and now they call me the boss or hello big man, which is, you know, very nice. The end of every evening, we don't have a chance to do anything except we've got 10 minutes in the bar to grab a couple of drinks, you know, before the day is over. But it's been a very solid and very good company to work with, and everybody pulls for the other person. Terry has cast it very well, and most importantly, it's not an RSC national. There is no conventional playing. Everyone is a strong individual character, which works. and there are no weak links.
The Clwyd Theatr Cymru cast includes regulars of Terry Hands' Mole team, such as Steffan Rodri and Richard Moore. They transfer to Cardiff's new theatre tomorrow.
Therefore, thou, happy father, think that the clearest gods who make them honours of men's impossibilities have preserved thee. I do remember now. Henceforth, I'll bear affliction till it do cry out itself, enough, enough, and die. That thing you spoke of, I took it for a man. Oft would say, the fiend, he led me to that place. Bear free and patient thoughts.
Everyone has tremendous moments on stage. Everyone has a very pivotal role to play. Everyone, when they come on, takes over. They're not sort of place setters for the main character. And in that way, it is an ensemble play.
There's been acclaim from the theatre critics for the production and unanimous praise for the company. But some have been less than kind about the King, and he admits there have been some problems.
Terry has said to me, there's the odd error tonight. I said, oh yeah? He said, when you turn up stage from, you said call France, call fucking Burgundy. I said, no, I didn't. I didn't say that. He said I did. And then I remembered saying something like, call France and call Burgundy. Because it was just one of those great emotional turnarounds which comes out of the anger against Cordelia. So I thought, oh, well, this is theatre. A little bit of risque now and again you'll have to put up with. But I don't do it every night. One night we came off, and after we'd done the restoration scene, the wheelchair, and Shewan Morris, who plays Cordelia, was laughing. And I said, what's the matter with you? And she said, you know what you said. I said, no, what did I say? And she said, you called me Ophelia. I said, no, I didn't, did I? Oh, shit. Oh, I said, I'm sorry, no, I couldn't have done that. And she said, you did. And nobody moved. This is Theatre Clwyd. Everyone's like, watching the play, they're listening, And if they didn't notice it, of course, quite a few people would. They were too reserved and polite to either say, to breathe, or to say, he didn't say that, did he? But I did, yeah.
This production has really caused quite a stir. All the national newspapers have reviewed it. Is that a good or a bad thing?
I do not read reviews. But of course you get to know when people say, oh, how could so-and-so write something like that when they, did he see the same play as I saw? And then there have been, apparently this play has been received wonderfully well. There was one sort of personal anti-thing about someone who'd written their review, I think, before they came to see the play. But the powerful press, apparently have been very strong, and it's becoming like not a cause célèbre, although that could be that perhaps is the case, but it's beginning to create a stir. The ripples are reaching larger shores with it. I didn't know the ramifications and implications of what would be needed out of this. And I'm older now than when I played Hamlet on Coriolanus, but this play actually demands all that you've got, and you have to give it.